We have reached the 1 year I didn't think we would end up talking about. The 1 year that took 3 years in our minds. The 1 year that was holding us prisoners, hostages, in our minds. We talked briefly about this on episode 57 in September with friend of the show, Sarah. It was about her trip to Portland and it being her first live NXT pay per view. But it was also important because not only was it her first live experience, but it would be the last one for a while as 2020 was getting underway. Yes, we're here now. COVID and Corona hit our subconscious and language lexicon. It was all over our world. Nobody was immune to those words. It was a catastrophe. Yes, 2020 came and went, and some believed it was a hoax, just the same way as those people still believe the earth is flat and Tupac is still alive. I remember being told in March that I'm not to come back to work for the foreseeable future. At the time, I was working at the casino, and 3 years later, I believe the NDA has expired enough. I am able to speak freely. Wow! No, I'm kidding. They didn't have us cite anything, but it felt like that until they told me and the rest of my coworkers working at the buffet as servers, chefs, bussers, bartenders that their services were no longer needed in August, or was it September? Around that time. It took them months to finally realize, hey, you're free. The buffet will no longer be available. So fast forward to me staying my ass at home. Life of an introvert, right? We thrive under those conditions. We are kings and queens. I played enough video games, binged on enough TV shows and movies, and ate a lot of snacks, and obviously overindulged on enough of those snacks and caffeinated sugar drinks to almost kill me the next year. Yeah, that happened that year in 2020. And, 2021 happened. Y'all know the diabetes story. You know, if not, go back and listen to the backlog of episodes I have on this subject. Wrestling with diabetes, wrestling with mental health, all that. Seriously, I thought being an introvert during 2020 wasn't going to affect me. But in fact, it did. I was used to this life for 2 years. That earlier this year, I almost had a panic attack when I was hanging out with family at a birthday party. An episode for another time, I guess, but that just goes to show you not everything is as it seems. But I digress. 2020, it overstayed its welcome for a lot of people. But for those that didn't mind staying home and becoming a hermit, yes, I said hermit. We were doing well. We felt at ease. We ruled 2020 for those 3 years with an iron fist, like our Game of Thrones style. Yes! Mine! It's mine for the taking, yes! Oh, okay, I'm going too far on this. On the bright side, 2020 did bring us some of the best content. Zoom calls skyrocketed to an all-time high. Our very best friends joined OnlyFans and then wanted us to pay for it. No, no, thank you. TikTok became a thing. I unfortunately joined it to try it out. Uh, yes, I did say unfortunately. I don't. And podcasts became a much bigger thing. And if it wasn't for me listening to them, I don't think I would be here telling you stories, telling you other stories besides wrestling. 2020 wrestling stories, however, is a different breed. I can't wait to talk about that. But since we're here, you and welcome back to the show that according to my analytics, 90% are women and 90% are the age range of 45 to 59-year-olds, and they love to listen to the way I say, I'm Evo, and you are listening to another awesome episode of From Under the Apron. There is finally a release date for the long-awaited Von Erichs movie, A24's The Iron Claw, starring Zac Efron and Jeremy Allen White. You all know Jeremy Allen from Shameless as Lip, and Zac Efron, High School Musical. Variety has reported that the film will debut nationwide on December 22, sharing a release date with Jason Momoa's superhero sequel, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, on December 20th, which is expected to hit the big screen a few days prior. The Iron Claw, which tells the tragic true story of the Von Erich family, a dynasty of professional wrestlers who made history in the intensely competitive sport in the early 1980s. The brothers had to battle inside the ring, but outside they were plagued with a series of tragedies that became known as the Von Erich curse. Yes, the Von Erich curse. Strikes. Efron plays Kevin Von Erich, and White portrays Carrie Von Erich alongside Harry Dickinson as David Von Erich, Holt McElhenney as Fritz Von Erich, Maura Tierney as the family's matriarch Doris, and Lily James as Kevin's wife Pam. But that's not all. Now that we have who's going to play who, I can say there are more actors in the movie playing different wrestlers as well. And they are the salt of the earth. Maxwell Jacob Friedman, or MJF, will be playing Lance Von Erich. Basically getting the cousin treatment, Lance Von Erich was not really related to the Von Erichs. He came in and subbed for Mike Von Erich, who was played by Stanley Simmons. And he was diagnosed with toxic shock syndrome, which shortened his career. So Lance Von Erich took over, and they made him feel like he was a cousin of the Von Erichs, when in reality, that guy was Scrappy Doo. If you get the reference, you get the reference. Aaron Dean Eisenberg will play Ric Flair. Casey Louis Carragino will play Bruiser Brody. Ryan Nemeth, Dolph Ziggler's brother, will be playing Gino Hernandez. Kevin Anton will play King Harley Race. Chavo Guerrero Jr. will play the original Sheik, Ed Farhat. Michael Harney as legendary play-by-play radio announcer Bill Mercer. And last, but definitely not least, Brady Pierce will play the arch nemesis of the Von Erich family, the guy that to this day, villain, whatever, arch nemesis, one of the nemesis. He's from he's wrestling royalty also. The Fabulous Freebirds, Michael P.S. Hayes. I'm telling you, this movie's going to be amazing. I'll be there in December. I'm definitely going to be there for this movie. I'm going to go buy tickets. I'm going to be talking about it before, like, as soon as the trailer comes out, I am on it. I'm going to be on it. I'm going to be sharing it with you guys. Everything. It's all good.
Hey, welcome to the Sweet Life Pod, the show where we create special moments with special people. I'm your host, Sakari Masters. In the Sweet Life Pod, we'll be discussing individuality, peace of mind, and how to attain and uphold meaningful relationships. If this sounds fitting, then follow the Sweet Life Pod on Spotify now. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the number one way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening!
Before we begin, as always, follow us on our socials to support us. From Under the Apron on Instagram, Spotify, and YouTube. Apron stories on the apron underscore stories on the X, Twitter, formerly Twitter. Um, the app formerly known as Twitter X. Uh, we're on Threads also. Check us out there. I'm trying to get a link to Blue Sky. Not working. Somebody send me the Blue Sky, please. I need it. Um, any other apps that we're getting into these days? No. More info on the links where you can listen or watch in the show notes. Listen to us on Apple, Spotify, or any other media you can listen to podcasts on. Make sure to rate us and leave us a review. And if you feel you want to do a little bit more you say, you want more, please, please, mister, just a little tiny bit more. More? Are you crazy? More? If you want a little bit more, if you want to do a little bit more, support us on the Patreon. Become a top tier patron. And I will shout you out at the end of every episode. Not that hard, guys. Go to patreon.com/ From the Apron Podcast for more information on that. The link will be in the show notes. So we're talking about 2020, which we're still talking about SummerSlam, right? It's probably going to be the last entry of SummerSlam for a while. We'll have more entries soon on other shows, but first, SummerSlam 2023, it's almost here, so I gotta talk about it. I gotta make suggestions on this. Um, so we're gonna talk about SummerSlam 2020. As a result of COVID-19 pandemic, we had to present the majority of its programming for Raw and Smack. August SummerSlam 2020 aired August 23, 2020 on the WWE Network. Peacock? Was it Peacock at the time? I don't remember. I don't recall. At the WWE Thunderdome at Amway Center in Orlando, Florida. Attendance was nobody was there. Everybody was at home watching it. As a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, WWE had to present the majority of its programming for Raw and SmackDown from behind a closed door set at the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida, beginning mid-March. Although in late May, the promotion began using Performance Center trainees to serve as the live audience, which was further expanded to friends and family members of the wrestlers in mid-June. SummerSlam, as well as the preceding night's NXT TakeOver event, were originally scheduled to take place in Boston, Massachusetts at the TD Garden. On May 8th, the ongoing pandemic forced Boston Mayor Marty Walsh to suspend all large-scale gatherings until September 7th, effectively canceling WWE's planned event in the city. On August 17th, it was made official that SummerSlam would emanate from the Amway Center, a larger venue also located in Orlando. This made SummerSlam the first major WWE event to be held outside the Performance Center since March. WWE also entered into an agreement with the Amway Center in which all future broadcasts of Raw, SmackDown, and pay-per-views will be held at the venue for the foreseeable future. Along with the move, WWE partnered with the full-service fan experience company, the Famous Group, to provide a virtual fan experience, a biosecure bubble dubbed the WWE Thunderdome, which was first utilized for the August 21 episode of SmackDown. Drones, lasers, pyro smoke, and projections were utilized to make the wrestlers' entrances better than WrestleMania. According to WWE Executive Vice President of Television Production, Kevin Dunn, who further noted that we can now do things production-wise that we could never do otherwise. They also installed nearly 1,000 LED boards in the Amway Center to allow for rows and rows of virtual fans who could register for a free virtual seat. Arena audio was also mixed with that of the virtual fans so that chants from the fans could be heard. Alright, so yeah, I really dug the entire Thunderdome thing. Alright, so yeah, I really dug the entire Thunderdome aspect of the show. Like when I first saw it, I was like, it's not this isn't gonna stay, right? No, there's no way. And then I got used to it. It was fun. I was like, I even asked friends, like, hey, are you there? Are you gonna be on there? And like, no, we don't even know people are there. Like, if you look around, there's majority of them are kids, adults with sometimes trying to wear a mask, with the championship belt, like fans, actual fans, just doing what they can to like be seen. So it got fun. It basically got better than the first time around. The first match of the night, Bailey defended the SmackDown Women's Championship against Asuka. She defeated Asuka. Match lasted 11 minutes 35 seconds. Also, Asuka did double duty this night. She was also supposed to face Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks was supposed to defend the Raw Women's Championship against her. So this match lasted 11 minutes 35 seconds. I'm gonna get to the other one also. I might as well get through it right now. So here's the first one. At the horror show at Extreme Rules, the Raw Women's Championship match between Sasha Banks and defending champion Asuka ended in controversy when Asuka inadvertently spat green mist in the referee's face, which led to Bayley removing the referee's shirt and counting the pin for Banks to unofficially win the title. The following night on Raw, WWE Chief Brand Officer Stephanie McMahon stated that neither Banks or Asuka won at Extreme Rules and announced a rematch between the two for the following week in a match where the title could be won by pinfall, submission, disqualification, or countout. During the ensuing battle, Bayley attacked Asuka's tag team partner Kairi Sane backstage. Asuka then left the match to check on Sane, resulting in her losing by countout. Thus, Banks won the title for a record fifth time. On the August 3rd episode, Asuka demanded a rematch for the title. However, Banks stated that she had to defeat Bayley to earn the match at SummerSlam, which Asuka did the following week. On that Friday's SmackDown, as Bayley did not have a challenger for her SmackDown Women's Championship at SummerSlam, Stephanie announced a triple brand battle royal for the following week, featuring wrestlers from Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, with the winner facing Bayley at the event. Surprise entrant Asuka won the battle royal, thus doing double due booking Asuka to face the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions in singles match for the respective singles title. On the August 21st episode of SmackDown, both Banks and Bayley faced Naomi in a beat the clock challenge to determine the order of their respective title defense against Asuka, with the loser defending first. Banks subsequently won as she defeated Naomi, who in turn defeated Bayley. Um, so in the end, Asuka attempted to attack Bayley, who was teetering in the ring ropes. However, Bayley moved out of the way, and Asuka inadvertently knocked off Banks, who had been standing on the ring apron to try and distract Asuka. Bayley then performed a roll up on Asuka to retain the title. Following the match, Bayley Banks attacked Asuka, even doing a kind of like a power bomb move on her, but just like double power bombing it from two perspective ways. It didn't go so well, I guess you could say. Um, it was it was a a pretty good move, but it didn't work well. After that, there was another interview later on that night where Bayley was holding a broom, saying that they were going to sweep Asuka when Sasha Banks would defeat her. However, the next match, the later on that night, this is what I'm going to say right now instead. During the match, Asuka defeated Sasha Banks by submission for the Raw Women's Championship at 11 minutes and 25 seconds. During the match, Banks power bombed. During the match, Banks performed a powerbomb from the ring apron on Asuka. Asuka applied an ankle lock on Banks, who rolled through. Asuka countered a superplex attempt into a DDT on Banks for a near fall. Asuka performed a missile dropkick from the top rope on Banks for a near fall. Banks attempted a frog splash, but Asuka moved out of the way. Asuka then applied the Asuka lock on Banks, who countered into a pinning combination for a near fall, after which Banks applied the blank statement submission hold. As Banks brought Asuka to the middle of the ring, Asuka countered into the Asuka lock, but Banks escaped. The end saw a similar situation from the event SmackDown Women's Championship match earlier on, with the roles of Banks and Bayley switched. However, Bayley moved out of the way. Asuka then attacked Bayley, but as Banks attempted a Banks statement, Asuka reversed into the Asuka lock to force Banks to submit, thus winning the title for a second time. The aftermath of this, Sasha Banks challenged Asuka to a rematch for the Raw Women's Championship as a lumberjack match. However, Banks was unsuccessful in regaining the title, thus ending their feud. However, the two faced each other at Survivor Series on November 22, but as a champion vs. champion match with Banks as SmackDown Women's Champion, where Banks was victorious. Next match, the Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford defeated Andrade and Angel Garza with Zelina Vega as their manager by pinfall for the Raw Tag Team Championships. The match lasted 7 minutes and 50 seconds. I forgot that the Street Profits were Tag Team Champions. Seriously, I forgot that happened. Zelina Vega looks freaking incredible without all without the LWO backing her. She just looked different. Angel Garza still there, of course, and Andrade. I forgot Andrade was still here at the time, Mr. Charlotte Flair's husband. Street Profits, however, Angelo Dawkins, they reversed the entire thing. Angelo Dawkins was a pretty big guy, and Montez Ford was a small guy, pretty small guy. Like 3 years later, that after going to the gym and doing all that stuff, Montez Ford looks jacked. Angelo Dawkins looks smaller these days. And I love their freaking entrance. They came out wearing green for some reason. On the July 27th episode of Raw, Angel Garza and Andrade defeated the Viking Raiders, Eric and Ivar. Yes, they're still around. And Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. They were both a team at the time before the whole Hurt Business came around. In a triple threat match to tag team match to become the number one contenders with the Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford, Raw Tag Team Champions at SummerSlam. The climax saw Vega stand on the ring apron to distract the referee. However, Garza performed a super kick on Dawkins, who bumped into Vega, knocking her off the ring apron. Dawkins then performed a powerbomb on Garza, and Ford performed from the heavens on Garza to retain the title. The way Ford performs a frog splash, let me tell you, the dude felt like old vintage Rob Van Dam. Like, he could hit it from anywhere. He could switch. He could like move around his whole entire body. This man moved his body from one to the other and hit the frog splash. Immediate win. This man is freaking amazing. I loved old school Street Profits because of that.
Hi everyone, I'm Lisa.
And I'm Dawn.
And if you've ever watched a TV show and thought to yourself, oh my god, that season finale plot twist was absolutely bonkers.
Or seen a movie and thought, wow, I need to talk to somebody about this train wreck immediately.
Then we think you'll fit right in with our podcast, I Hate It, Let's Watch It. We watch TV shows like Riverdale and Emily in Paris.
And movies like Deep Water, Killer Sofa, Rubber, and Deadly Illusions. And we give them the total rinsing they deserve.
It's basically group therapy for movie masochists. So come check us out wherever you stream podcasts.
What is up? This is Fuck It, Let's Talk with your host, Christine. Monthly, I'll be here to discuss the ups and woes of parenting and explore topics with other parents, or not parents, in hopes of finding a little sanity. Just a warning, the keyword here is puke. Eventually you'll get it. So come join me where we explore honest takes on parenting and life. Don't forget to follow on Spotify or subscribe wherever else the podcast is available. Be sure to check out the polls on Anchor, where you can also show some support if it tickles your fancy. And if you want more, head on over to the newsletter, F It Let's Talk on WordPress. I look forward to chatting with you. Fuck it. Let's talk.
Next match, Mandy Rose defeated Sonya Deville be a pinfall, and the loser leaves the WWE match at 10 minutes and 5 seconds. Originally, this match was supposed to be loser gets to shave their head. But I will tell you toward the end of this, I believe there was an incident where Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, um, Mandy Rose accompanied Sonya Deville home, and when Sonya Deville got there, she heard a commotion. Like some stalker dude was there underneath the stairs and everything. And when Sonya Deville left, she called Mandy Rose back. They took her. Mandy Rose took Sonya to the sheriff's office. They went back to get this guy, the stalker guy, and there's supposed to be a court hearing, and all this stuff. So yeah, here it goes. The stipulation change was brought about due to a real life incident involving DeVille. Her home had been broken into by a stalker in Florida. Her lawyers cited it was not a good idea to have a head shaved while in court. So you know who's going to lose this match eventually, if that would have happened. But Sonya Deville without hair, that would have looked different. Also, this is the first time Sonya Deville wears the what's it called, the WWE work backstage outfit, which was fucking amazing at the time when she did it the first time. So we know eventually what she's gonna end up doing and working as in the foreseeable future. The loser leads out of the match. We already knew what was going to happen, anyways. They weren't going to. There was no way Mandy Rose was going to shave her head. There was no way. Was Sonya Deville going to shave her head? Damn. All right. At the onset of 2020, a romance began between Mandy Rose and Heavy Machinery's Otis. Oh, Heavy Machinery. I remember that. Otis used to be a freaking love monster for some reason. They were set to have a Valentine's Day date. However, Dolph Ziggler arrived first, stealing the date with Rose. Prior to WrestleMania 36, it was revealed that Rose's Fire and Desire tag team partner, Sonya Deville, had conspired with Ziggler to sabotage the date by sending a fake text to Otis that Rose was running late. Otis then defeated Ziggler at the event with the help of Rose, who also attacked Deville. Rose then entered into a month long feud with DeVille, who claimed that Rose was all looks and no talent. There might be on something there. This culminated on the July 31st episode of SmackDown, where DeVille attacked Rose backstage and cut some of her hair off. Rose, now sporting shorter hair, then challenged DeVille to a hair versus hair match at SummerSlam, which DeVille accepted. The following week, Rose had a change of heart, thinking there was still some good in DeVille, and asked to put the rivalry behind him. DeVille instead raised the stakes and changed the stipulation of their match to a no disqualification match where the loser leaves WWE. And there's your reason behind that. During the first half hour of the match, Rose and DeVille fought at ringside, where Rose performed a flying lariat on DeVille off the announcer's table. DeVille attacked Rose with a chair and slammed her head on the announce table. Rose performed 3 running knees, a fairy tale ending, and a 4th running knee on DeVille to win the match. Following the match, Otis came out to celebrate with Rose, where Rose performed her own rendition of the Caterpillar. Otis finisher? They really call that a finisher? It's a thing, the Caterpillar, the worm. We're calling it the worm. The fact that she hit 4 running knees to DeVille's face, pinned her, and DeVille still, Sonya still rolled out of the ring, stood up and everything. Dude, sell the move at least. As for Mandy Rose, we wouldn't get, good as Mandy Rose until probably 2022, October 2022, or was it October 2021? Um, yeah, one of those where we get toxic attraction, and it was amazing. So yes, um, if we wouldn't get it until like that time. So she had a lot to prepare for. Like, yes, she was all look and no talent, but she ended up being talented for a reason. Like that running knee ended up being a good finisher, except for this right here when Sonya Deville stood up like after 4 times. Come on. Next match, Seth Rollins defeated Dominic Mysterio in a street fight, 22 minutes and 35 seconds. This was supposed to be Dominic Mysterio's first match ever in the WWE. Um, and it's all because Seth Rollins tried to almost murder Rey Mysterio. Okay. Following several weeks of Seth Rollins tormenting and taunting Rey Mysterio, the two finally faced each other at the horror show at Extreme Rules in an eye for an eye match in which one opponent had to extract an eye off the other to win the match. Yeah, that happened. Um, Rollins won that match. Mysterio's son Dominic appeared on July 27th episode of Raw to confront Rollins and disciple Murphy for Rollins' actions. How it happened, you ask, because I'm not moving past this. Um, Rollins eventually grabbed Mysterio's face and like pushed him into the ring steps, the edge of the ring steps, the corner of the ring steps. It took his eye out, and basically, like blood started coming out. At the end of the match, that happened. I remember this well because after he did that, you see Rollins look concerned. He looks over at Mysterio, who's being treated by EMTs, even Murphy. But Rollins decides to just like, oh my god, what have I done? And then he just pukes. Like, what the hell? Why'd you do that? That wasn't even necessary. All right, back to this. Mysterio's son Dominic appeared on July 27th episode of Raw to confront Rollins and his disciple Murphy for Rollins' actions. Wait a minute, Rollins, Murphy, Dominic, and Murphy. Huh. I wonder. Nah, no way. As well as for Rollins gloating about it, although Dominic attacked Rollins and Murphy, they eventually overpowered Dominic until Aleister Black came out to Dominic's aid. Oh, look at that. Aleister Black and Murphy. The brawl, however, resulted in Murphy injuring Black's eye using the corner of the steel steps. That's how it started. All right. And because of Murphy. So Murphy injured Aleister Black. Aleister Black uses the black mask, the House of Black in AEW, and then he lets Murphy into the freaking group. That I had never knew that. I didn't know that. So that's new to me. The following week, Dominic challenged Rollins to a match at SummerSlam. Later, after Rollins and Murphy taunted commentator Tom Phillips, which led to fellow commentator Samoa Joe defending Phillips. They were both attacked from behind by Dominic with a kendo stick. Rollins then accepted Dominic's challenge. During the contract signed the following week, in which Dominic also signed a contract to officially become a WWE wrestler, Rollins stated that Dominic could use any kind of weapon he wanted. After Rollins defeated Humberto Carrillo, Rollins and Murphy attacked Dominic with kendo sticks. Their SummerSlam match was later made a street fight. And when Rollins and Murphy attacked Dominic with kendo sticks, they left welts on the poor kid. um, he was all his entire body was filled with just blood because of that. It was rough. The match. Seth Rollins, accompanied by Murphy, fought Dominic Mysterio, accompanied by his father Rey Mysterio, in a street fight. This was Dominic's first match as a wrestler. Dominic performed a Russian leg sweep on Rollins from the top turnbuckle onto the table below. Later on, Rey Mysterio tried to interfere, but Dominic told him not to do so. But then later on, Rollins handcuffed Ray to the second rope. In the end, Rollins performed a stomp, the curb stomp, on Dominic in front of Ray to win the match. Also, Ray's wife, and Angie, yeah, Angie came out earlier. Like, you that me? He called you that? No, what the what? All that shit. But, yeah, it was funny trying to see the mom trying to get involved and shit. Aftermath, Dominic Mysterio teamed with his father, Rey Mysterio, in a tag team match against Seth Rollins and Murphy, but the match ended in a disqualification after Retribution attacked the Mysterios. On August 28th, a rematch was scheduled for Payback. As for this here, right here, the reason I did the whole thing with Dominic and Murphy, Murphy is Rhea Ripley's husband. So later on, during this whole setup where they were still feuding with each other, you didn't see Seth Rollins for a while, but you did see Murphy all the time. Murphy was trying to date Dominic's sister, Aaliyah, and the whole thing situation there with Ray not trusting Murphy, Dominic saying like get the hell out of here, all this shit. So Dominic playing the long game here decides now would be a good time. Oh shit. And at the WWE Hall of Fame, Dominic was sitting next to Rhea Ripley, of course, and right next to them is what's his face? Damian Priest. Of course, the whole thing. Murphy, Rhea Ripley brought Murphy with her, but still they had to sit them separately. When asked on Twitter where was Murphy, Murphy said I was sitting right next to her sister to continue that storyline thing. But in reality, they weren't sitting together. She was with her husband or boyfriend at the time. But Murphy did say that. It was funny the way he said it. It's like, yeah, I was sitting next to the sister. So that would have had they like camera panned and everything to have Murphy sit with Aaliyah, that would have been fine. But the fact that they did anyways, and he wasn't there, it just fucked up the whole thing. Next match, we already talked about Asuka and Sasha Banks. Let's go with the match after that. Drew McIntyre defeated Randy Orton. Drew McIntyre defended his WWE Championship against Randy Orton. 20 minutes and 35 seconds. First of all, all right, let's go with the before anything happens. Let's go with that, and then let me tell you what happened during. On the July 27th episode of Raw, Randy Orton cut a promo listing many of his accolades before declaring that he wanted the WWE Championship again. He then issued a challenge to champion Drew McIntyre for a title match at SummerSlam. Later that night, McIntyre accepted Orton's challenge and then defeated Dolph Ziggler in an Extreme Rules match in a rematch from the horror show at Extreme Rules, preventing Ziggler from earning the title opportunity. Following the match, Orton attacked McIntyre with an RKO. Drew McIntyre defended the WWE Championship against Randy Orton. In the climax, okay, there's no climax. Hold on, before the climax happened, Orton messed with Drew's head the entire 5 minutes of the match. Was 2 steps ahead of him and everything. Whipped him to the ropes, and instead of doing the whole fall down and shit, and Drew going and skipping over his body. What Randy Orton did was fall on his back and watch as Drew skipped over him, but he grabbed his leg, tripping him over, which Drew was like, "What the hell?" This made Drew go outside for a little bit, regroup, think about what he was going to do next. And then he looked at Orton and was like, "You motherfucker, you got me. You think you got me?" And from there, Randy was like staring at him and smiling. It's like, his a little smirk. All right, so here we are. Drew McIntyre. The climax after a back and forth contest, Orton attempted punt kick on McIntyre. However, McIntyre countered with a power bomb. As McIntyre attempted a Claymore kick on Orton, Orton avoided it. However, McIntyre performed a backslide pin on Orton to retain the title. That's how he wins? That's how he wins. Aftermath, the following night on Raw, WWE Champion Drew McIntyre gloated on how he had defeated the greatest wrestler ever with a wrestling move and stated that he knew that Randy Orton wanted a rematch. As McIntyre made his exit, Orton attacked McIntyre and delivered 2 punts on him. Later, McIntyre attacked Orton during Orton's match against the debuting Keith Lee, and the brawl ended with Orton delivering a third punt to McIntyre, taking him out for the next couple of weeks. On the August 31st episode, Orton earned himself another title opportunity against McIntyre for the WWE Championship at Clash of Champions.
Movies and feelings. Pop, pop. Bring Your Own Popcorn is a podcast that dives into people and the movies who love them. Let us preach to your choir or stoke your ire as we spiral down memory lane with cult classics, Jurassics, and other genres that rhyme with traffic. What we lack in education, we make up for with comedy, compassion, and camaraderie. I'm your host, Mixtape Majesty, inviting you to join me and an assortment of wonderful guests on fine podcast apps everywhere. Bring your own popcorn.
You're listening to Mama Murdered a Podcast. I'm your host, AB. Mama Murdered a Podcast is a podcast where me, the mama, will be killing it on the podcast. We'll be taking a deep dive into things that are hard to talk about and even harder to believe that these things actually happen in the world that we live in. This entire podcast will be a trigger warning. I'll be talking about triggering topics while I dive headfirst into a lot of the cases that I'll be covering. New episodes will be released every week on Wednesdays because nobody likes Mondays and because Fridays are for day drinking and barbecues. Some of the case topics will be murder, of course, serial killers, like Dennis Rader, the BTK killer, missing persons cases, like 5-year-old Summer Wells, who vanished from her own yard in broad daylight in the middle of June in Tennessee in 2021. And especially the ones where it kind of seems like they just vanished into thin air, like Brian Schaefer. He walked into a bar, but he never walked out. He's still never been seen again. I'll also be covering cold cases and lesser-known cases. Join me every Wednesday to talk about all things tragic, murder, and things that happen in the downright ugliest sides of society. If you like what you hear and you want to support the podcast, you can rate me on Spotify. You can also leave a review and rating on Apple Podcast. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at murdered_mama. All of these things are free and they only take about a second to do, and it really does help grow the podcast. If you have any case suggestions, please send them my way. You can send them to the email address mamamurderedapodcast@gmail.com.
And finally, the match. The match I've been waiting for. The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, defeated Braun Strowman for the WWE Universal Championship in a Falls Count Anywhere match. The match only lasted 12 minutes. Falls Count Anywhere? Yes. Yes. Because it did. It went all over the arena. As for the other match that was supposed to be a street fight, it was only in the ring and outside the ring. But this match was all over the place. That's what it's supposed to be, but still. And Money in the Bank, Braun Strowman retained the Universal Championship against Bray Wyatt, who wrestled as his Firefly Funhouse character. After being absent for a few weeks, Wyatt returned on the June 19th episode of Raw SmackDown, but was interrupted by Strowman. Wyatt stated that rivalry was just getting started before appearing as his old cult leader persona of the Wyatt family, which formerly included Strowman and from where Strowman had originally made his WWE debut. This led to a non-title match between the two called the Wyatt Swamp Fight at the horror show at Extreme Rules, where Wyatt, fighting as his old Eater of World Self, defeated Strowman, who disappeared somewhere in the swamp. They really did that? As Wyatt tried to leave himself, he was pulled back into the water, only for his alter ego, the Fiend, to appear. Did they do a Matt Hardy Ultimate Deletion match here? Because this sounds familiar. Where they go to the Lake of Reincarnation and you come out as your old gimmick? Okay. On the following SmackDown, Wyatt stated that his old Eater of World Self was done for now, and that the Fiend had been unleashed. The following week, Wyatt said that the Fiend wanted the Universal Championship and that no one was safe until he got it, which was made evident later that night when the Fiend attacked Alexa Bliss. Strowman's old tag team partner from season 1 of Mixed Match Challenge. On the August 7th episode, the Fiend tried attacking Bliss again, who seemingly showed affection for the Fiend, causing him to back off. Strowman then appeared on the Titantron, stating he did not care about Bliss and that he emerged a monster from the swamp. Strowman then accepted the Fiend's challenge for the Universal Championship at SummerSlam. The following week saw Strowman attacking Bliss to lure out the Fiend, who appeared in the ring to confront Strowman. On the August 22 episode of Talking Smack, the stipulation was changed to a Falls Count Anywhere match. It really went to the gorilla position. It went all over the place. During the match, in the main event, Braun Strowman defended the Universal Championship against the Fiend Bray Wyatt in a Falls Count Anywhere match. During the match, the two fought up the entrance ramp and inside the gorilla position. In the closing moments, Strowman used a box cutter to cut the top ring canvas to expose the wooden flooring. I don't know where they were going with that, and I was just like, this is dumb. Because if you're going to do that, you might as well throw your opponent into it and not just use it for wooden. Okay, sure. The Fiend, I mean, there have been so many other matches where Taz versus Bam Bam Bigelow, where you go in through the ring, and these two are freaking bigger than them two. Like, basically, you exploded the ring at one time. You couldn't do it here. The Fiend countered an attack from Strowman and performed a Uranagi and two consecutive Sister of Abigail's on Strowman onto the exposed wood to regain the title for a second time. However, this is a big however, because after the match, a returning Roman Reigns, in his first appearance in 5 months, appeared and performed a spear on the Fiend. Reigns then performed a spear on Strowman, who was staggering at ringside and attacking him with multiple chair shots. He kept saying, "You ain't a monster unless I'm here." "You're no monster." "No, I'm here now." Reigns then returned to the ring to execute another spear on the Fiend before hoisting up the Universal Championship belt and telling him, "You can't handle this responsibility. It's mine. I'm the one. I'm the chosen one." Something like that. Anyway, and this is where we get freaking fucking indestructible, wreck everyone and leave. Roman Reigns, that's the shirt he was wearing too, and that's the fucking toy that I got. That's like hanging out next to Razor Ramon. I have him right here. Wreck everyone and leave. That is Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. Alright, the aftermath. The day after SummerSlam, it was announced that new Universal Champion, The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, would defend his title against Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns in a no-holds-barred triple threat match at Payback. Subsequently, on SmackDown, it was revealed that Reigns aligned himself with Paul Heyman. When that happened, I tapped out. When that happened, I tapped out. It was, wow. And Payback is when Roman Reigns won the Universal Championship belt from Bray Wyatt. So it would make sense. That would be like 3 years now? Shit. Okay, 21, 22. Yeah, that would be 3 years if he wins at SummerSlam next weekend against Jey Uso. Like, it'll be 3 years if he goes to Payback. So, and speaking of which, we're going to have a SummerSlam, what's it called? Predictions with Sarah coming soon next week. So keep an ear out for that. I'm already telling you what's going on. Let's keep going. Dave Meltzer rated the WWE Championship match at 4.25 stars, the highest of the night. Meanwhile, the main event received a 1 star, the lowest of the night. Yeah. Anyway, also on the card, the kickoff show match received 2.25 stars. The SmackDown Women's Championship match received 3.25 stars. The Raw Tag Team Championship match received... I don't even want to read this anymore because it's Dave Meltzer. Whatever. As always, follow us on our social, support us from Under the Apron on Instagram. Whatever. But, you know, alright, let's keep going. The SmackDown Women's Championship match received 3.25 stars. The Raw Tag Team Championship match received 2 stars. The Hair vs. Hair match received 2.75 stars. And the Street Fighter and the Raw Women's Championship match received 3.75 stars. I guess there's your rating system right here. It's like Dave Meltzer did the rating. I didn't. Cool, cool. Alright, what's the next question? Oh yeah, would you take it? You know what? We're in 2020. Let's do what 2020 did. Would anybody want me to stream this and have a Discord? Discord. Let's get on Discord, everybody. Let's watch this. We can. Hey, that's how you talk to people, right? Wait, was Discord around in 2020? I don't know. Who cares? All right, that's gonna do it for us tonight. Yeah, yeah. So basically, this whole pay-per-view was good, but not that. It's all right. As always, follow us on our socials, support us from Under the Apron on Instagram, Spotify, and YouTube, apron_stories on the app formerly known as Twitter, x.com. For info on the links and where you can listen or watch in the show notes. Check out the threads. Check us out on the threads. Or Blue Sky if you have it. Listen to us on Apple, Spotify, or any other audio media you can listen to podcasts on. Make sure to rate us and leave us a review. And if you want to do a little bit more, give me more, give me more. Go to patreon.com from Under the Apron podcast. Support us on the Patreon. Become a top tier patron and get patron privileges. That will shout you out at the end of every episode. At the end of every episode. Just like Babel B, Menace Smiling, Stephanie M, Dark Freak Creations. Check out their fancy dandy candles. Oh yeah. I'm still gonna say it like that. Some are too sweet to be sour, and they are funky like a monkey. Oh yeah, brother. Check out Dark Freak Creations, darkfreakcreations.com. Get your candle wax. Get your candle before October. Get the pumpkin spice candle. Awesome. Next on the list, Jolene, Seizure Queen, Purple Haze 94, Brenda Lamore 1, Zach W. I'm never going to change your name, buddy. Rowena, the Queen of Persia, OMG is Ren, Jay Wowzer, OG Just PG, Hydrangea Water, The Grunge Witch, Hannah Time, Messenger of Stupidity, my favorite DJ Aaron, The Weed Daddy, Rabbit Orlando, Collector of All Things Sentimental, Philly Millie, Brief Flash, Test Flash Hearts, Cloudy November from the No is a Sentence podcast. Check out her podcast, No is a Sentence. I will have that link in the show notes. Turtle Boy Flores, Happy Chic Blog, Hopeful Kid Weasel Eclipse, Celestial Moon Goddess, Dude 4, Sippy Hippie, Jello, Sippy Hippie. She loves when I say Jello. Strawberry Chaotic, Ooh Woo, Lady Dabigail, Full Heart Earth, Cookie Monster Kalani, Yum, V Nice 888, Ugly Hag on the Rag, Ugly Hag on the Rag, Chaos Corey 420, K-Bear 0111, Swifty Ever After, Karma, my favorite person to talk about, Swifty, Taylor Swift, yeah. Lust for Life, Dying Weeds, Mermaid Kisses, Delicate Indecisions, Art Goblin 666, Nikki Hartwell, Scorpion Deathlock, Just Another Dude, Tumble in the Jungle, Shamika with 1E, Age Cakes. Happy birthday to Age Cakes. She just celebrated her birthday. Jabroni Baloney. Ooh, Jabroni. Lucid Dream 619. Hey, it's Yuzu. MF Demo. Kenzo Vintage. Two Hearts Intertwined. Edo Sangres. Desh. It's McGuire. Cactus Flower 420. Spyro 666. Really very annoying. Drunk Era Sand. Son of a teacher, man. The only boy that could ever reach me was the son of a teacher, man. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. No? Alright. Keeft, Fairy, Agent, Smith, and Dinosaur Bang Bang. Pew, pew, pew. I love those people. Thank you, guys, for supporting the podcast, patreon.com. From Under the Empire Podcast. Get your name shout out. Support the podcast. Oh, yeah. Check out the show notes for links to other podcast stories that you heard on this episode. Send us a message of your favorite wrestling stories, questions, comments, ratings, or requests at our email. It is from undertheapron@gmail.com. Thank you for listening, join the live, staying, the gifts, and being a huge part of this community. Tell your friends. Join us next time for more stories, movies, and TV show reviews, as well as wrestling-related stories when we come to you from bread. See y'all later. Bye.